There are only 3 things you really need to know about me as we begin our ministry together this year. I am deeply sarcastic. That's one. I am stubbornly dedicated to the future of Unitarian Universalism. That's 2. Trust is the most important value to me in the world. And that's 3. I believe that each one of us is a mosaic of different stained glass shards fused together. Each one of us is a tapestry of thousands of multicolored threads woven together. And as we age and grow, we add new colors and new perspectives and new sufferings and new joys that inform how we live into this world we have been given. One mentor of mine describes the manifold nature of our humanness by saying that we are made up of millions of songs all at once. Millions of songs that we hold within us all at once, and I love that. I invite you to try to think of the first song you ever sang or heard sung to you. Maybe it was a nursery rhyme or a hymn. Get one in mind. Mine was Mary Had a Little Lamb. First, my mother sang it to me while I was still in the womb, or so she tells me. Then my father sang it to me after I was born. Then I heard it at the tape deck at the nursery. Y'all remember tape decks, right? And then I sang it myself almost daily in preschool. And then it came on in every straight-to-VHS children's movie that we rented from Blockbuster. And I don't know about you, but as a kid growing up, that song was everywhere. And I heard it so much, it soon annoyed the heck out of me. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. I won't continue, I think you know it. And I knew it too. I knew it by heart. I heard it so much, it lodged deep within me, along with all the memories associated with it. And so I'm curious, what are the memories associated with your first song? Are they joyful? Are they annoyed? Are they painful? All of the above? Now, think about the last song you were invited to sing, which, unless any of you stepped out by yourself to go sing in the vestibule during the prayer, was the hymn that we all sang together. I'm curious, how was singing that for you? How did it feel to sing that song in this space at this time? Was there a point when you were embarrassed because you couldn't find your place? Were you excited because you were finally harmonizing with the person directly behind you? Did you keep your mouth shut the whole time because you hate singing, but you love being surrounded by song? And now I invite you to bring to mind all of those songs from your life in between those 2 moments. From the first song you ever sang to this morning's hymn. All those songs in between, all those memories and notes, an infinity of them. And now broaden your definition of song. Not just the aural, not just the songs you can hear, but the songs that you live and that live through you. Everything, I believe, every experience you take in forms or informs a song inside you. And everything you give away leaves a song in its wake. Millions of songs within us all at once. Your life is a collection of fragments of experiences that get pieced together into a single unique being that we call you, or you, or you. And what a miracle it is that each of us are filled with so much song. But sometimes those songs are contradictory, aren't they? A fairly innocuous example from my life, I was driving down Colorado Boulevard the other day, and I approached a yellow light. And in my head, I had one song. It was the song that wanted to get to work on time, and the song that was singing, telling me to zip on through. I had enough time. I was fine. In my heart, though, I had a different song playing. This was the song that I'd seen an accident just yesterday when someone ran through a stop sign and got hit by another car. These songs, in that moment, were opposed within me. And yet, in that moment, I had to act. I had to use those songs to guide me towards moving into the future. And I don't like to leave people hanging, for the record. Then I accelerated. Guilty as charged. And I did get to work on time, for the record. And most of the time, it is good we have so many songs inside of us. It's how we learn, right? By taking these strands of song and weighing them and claiming an informed agency over our future. But the weighing can be such hard work. I'm talking about how we choose how we live and how we weigh all of those different melodies inside of us. Most often, the best and most wise and beautiful actions we take are the fruit of us working through and working with divergent and difficult songs. To use myself as an example again, when I tell you that I am deeply sarcastic, what I mean is that humor is what saved my life when growing up with a neglectful and abusive father. I grew to know deep pain real young, and that made me driven to laugh that much louder as an adult. And when I say I am stubbornly dedicated to the future of Unitarian Universalism, what I mean is that I am a third-generation Unitarian Universalist who's also a millennial, who's also a minister, who has seen this tradition let me down again and again and again, and I still believe there is something worthwhile and beautiful hidden under our rough edges. And when I say trust is the most important value to me in the world, what I mean is that I know intimately what it feels like to have trust broken. And I also know intimately what it feels like to stay in those relationships or not, and create relationships based in profound trust. So these three Reverend Dylan facts, as I'll call them, are not the surface attributes they might first appear to be. They are informed by a whole lifetime of songs flowing into me and through me, and like you, and like this congregation, sometimes these songs are divergent and contradictory. And like you, and like this congregation, I have to hold that divergence and figure out how am I going to live. I am a minister. I am a published poet. I'm a hospital chaplain. I'm an actor. I'm a preacher. I'm an activist. And as your incoming assistant minister, I have been hired to help lead you towards the next stage in the development of your social justice, adult religious education, and membership ministries. Those are my explicit portfolios. And I say that, first to be clear about what my role is with you all, but also to emphasize that I want to stress beneath the title, beneath the job description, beneath the mantle that I wear as reverend, I am a fellow traveler. I am a fellow musician with you all. I am a person filled with songs just like you, just like this congregation. Some joyous songs, some painful songs, no perfect songs. Here is the deal that I make with every new congregation that I serve. With me, you can trust that what you see is what you get. I will speak plainly. I will serve you faithfully, and I will love you as deeply as I am able for however long my tenure with you shall be. And in return, I ask you to trust me. Trust that I am a flawed human being with an infinity of songs within me, who is trying to lead the best way that he knows how. And sometimes I will strike a chord with you. See, I'm working the music puns throughout, if you're keeping track at home. Sometimes I will strike a chord with you. And what I ask is that you tell me. Sometimes I'll tell a joke from the pulpit, and it might not land right with you. And if it doesn't, don't keep that buried in silence. Let me know. I can't promise I can fix it or heal it, but I can promise I will begin that conversation with you. There are only 3 things you need to know about me as we begin our ministry together. I am deeply sarcastic. I am stubbornly dedicated to the future of Unitarian Universalism. Trust is the most important value to me in the world. That's 3. Since I arrived a few weeks ago, I've been getting a lot of questions about why I came here and why now. And like many of you, one of the reasons why I chose to join this church is because of its music program. And yes, part of that is me sucking up to John a little bit. Part of that is the work that John, Sarah, and the choir do on a weekly basis. But even more than that, what attracted to me is the music program of how music and song play out in the bedrock of the theology of this congregation. You are a congregation that throughout your history has strived so hard to sing together. You haven't always succeeded, but none of us can succeed 100% of the time, but you always strive to acknowledge all of the different songs in the community and let them ring out, even when they're not in the same key. This morning, you have heard the choir behind me sing, so you know the power of beautiful harmony, the power of all of these voices singing together, the power of human beings being together for a common goal and purpose. And if you have lived in the world we currently live in, odds are you also know the unfortunate power of the flip side. What I call fundamentalist dissonance. Not dissonance like a dissonant chord or a dissonant riff in a jazz improvisation. Those have their place in the choir, but I'm talking about true dissonance. Harmful dissonance. Songs of hate and division. Songs of fear and deep mistrust and hurt that leave us feeling alone. Y'all, it will not come as a surprise to you when I say that we are living in a divisive social and political climate. Is that a surprise to anyone? We are living in a culture that is increasingly foregoing constructive disagreement to instead choose dogmatic disapproval. And yes, this pertains to liberals as well as conservatives. And yes, this pertains to evangelicals as well as Unitarian Universalists. And yes, if we don't do our own hard work, this can pertain to the First Universalist Church of Denver as well. I'm new here. Did I mention that I was new here? I'm honestly too ignorant of all that's been going on this summer to take any sides or have any thoughts. So take this with a grain of salt, but my sense in my first few weeks that there is something here in the proverbial basement of this congregation that is hurting right now. This is is a church that yearns to let folks sing together, even through disagreements. Our very Universalist name on our sign means that we believe that all are worthy, all are loved, all have a song that is worth hearing. And there is something here among us right now that is causing people to feel as if their songs are muted. Many of you know that we are working with two highly experienced consultants from the Unitarian Universalist Association to explore just what is that systemic thing in our basement that is interfering with us living fully into our vision. To help us see just what it is that is stopping us from being all we want to be. And I think it's important for me, my first sermon with you all, to name from the pulpit this morning that whatever is causing this hurt is more than one person or one personality or one group. We are in this together. That includes the people who walked through these doors, different set of doors, I guess, literally, but these people that walked through the doors 50 years ago. It includes the people who walked through these doors for the first time this morning and have no idea what I'm going on about. This includes everyone in between. Folks, we are in this together. And perhaps the point for this morning is not the particulars of the something that is hurting. Perhaps the point is simply the togetherness and how we move forward. Perhaps the point is the many songs that we can create and share in respectful harmony simply by virtue of us being 300 people in a room on a Sunday morning. First Universalist is more than 1,000 members and friends that all at one point believed enough in the promise of this congregation that you showed up. And then you showed up again. And look, y'all showed up again this morning. And I want to reflect to you that this showing up, this is your strength. This drive to keep going and fighting for your covenant, even during times of conflict. This is what I found inspirational about you all. This is why I'm here. We are living in a difficult song in the history that is this congregation. Our senior minister is on medical leave. We have folks coming in from our denomination to help us sort out some conflict. This is hard. But I want to highlight that this is not the first difficult song this congregation has sung. I invite you to look at the archives installation. Pour through our 125-year history. We have been through hard times. And we got through them. We are going through hard times. And we are strong enough to get through them together. The road to what Martin Luther King called the beloved community is filled with rocks and bramble. And sometimes it makes you bleed. And I don't know if any of you have ever bled before, but it's not very comfortable. And that's where we are right now. We're on that road to the beloved community, and we are stuck in some bramble, moving forward, but moving slowly, and some of us feel like we're bleeding. So whoever you are, if you are here today, odds are you believe that the creation of a beloved community is worth your time. And I'd go so far as to say it's worth your hard work. Maybe some blood, maybe some sweat, maybe some tears, maybe some compromise, maybe some patience, dare I say, maybe some faith. Because the beloved community that we dream about creating out there, the one that we preach about and sing about, that'll only happen if we create that beloved community right here. I'm going to close by inviting you to look around again at those sitting next to you. These are the people. Whether you love their songs or not, these are the people that are joining you in your journey. I couldn't give you anything more inspiring if I tried. Some of you stopped looking. I'm going to ask you to look again. Really look. Put some smiles in there. You don't need to make this awkward, right? There is nothing more sacred than us walking this thorny path together. So let us go forth and do. In the confluence of our songs and our actions and how we treat one another. May we create a beloved community within the walls of our fellowship that can serve as a beacon that pours out into a desperately hurting world. I believe in you. I believe in this community of faith. It is why I am here. You are strong. You have been through difficult times before, and you moved through them together, and you will move through these difficult times as well. And I intend to be here, journeying with you. I ask that you believe in me. Believe in your staff. Believe in one another. Trust me. Trust your staff. Trust one another. Embrace me in good faith as your perfectly imperfect minister. And I will embrace you as my perfectly, completely imperfect congregation. It is so good to be here with each of you. And I am so looking forward to our ministry together. So may it be so. I love you. And amen.